to break away from the artificiality, the regimentation that dominates our society today. Our society seems torn apart and pulled in many directions. Socio-cyberneering is an approach at the restructuring of society in humanistic terms.
Humanistic terms, yes.
You may be standing, you may be screaming, you may be applauding, you may be demanding, you may be thinking that this is malarkey. My neighborhood's at war with thoughts that are cost me. Where is your armor? Where is your sword? Where is your soul? Right there on a cord. Dance, I glance at the landfill, thinking about how many kids don't have their bellies filled. And we got execs with much excess, driving past homeless shelters that show neglect. No respect for the living. If you got about $1 billion, you can never spend even from the beginning. But what if I told you there's a brand new way, a restructured world where nobody pays but everybody lives with new horizons? The standard is raised, that is science. Imagine for a second when you could wake up and study chemistry about organisms and not be trapped by capitalism. No rent, no debt, no wars, no jets, but cars with radar so we don't hit some catastrophe. Cause it's blasphemy that we haven't encouraged this society. Cause right now you got the wrong idea, but not me. Cause
to break away from the artificiality, the regimentation that dominates our society today. Our society seems torn apart and pulled in many directions. Socio-cyberneering is an approach at the restructuring of society in humanistic terms.
Humanistic terms, yes.
Technology is not utilized. Imagine a world where pollution's demise came from understanding and development, from ideas that started like a skeleton. Cause I'm through with politics. What is a debate when both sides check boxes so they can get paid? Then say this is what we do to improve. Invade Venezuela where the oil is crude. Just imagine Seoul with no mining coal. That would burn the atmosphere and us as a whole. Stop being greedy. We demand respect and the change that you swore to invest. That's why a new society is so crucial. We can't keep living this way cause it's brutal. Imagine having everything that you need, from food to water to cultural things at your disposal for whatever you need. Charging life to live is just insanity. We cube up grids like sugar at Costco, but can't figure out that we already know that most of your so-called actions show nothing. The GDP rises strictly as a function to keep people falsified to the truth that capitalism was never designed to work for you.
To break away from the artificiality, the regimentation that dominates our society today. Our society seems torn apart and pulled in many directions. Socio-cyberneering is an approach at the restructuring of society in humanistic terms.
Humanistic terms, yes. The times I've spoken to you, you're very science and technological oriented. You want categories and people, I remember, classified in categories and certain people living here and certain
I never wanted that.
No.
Let's say that we didn't read each other, or I did not communicate the ideas. In essence, to me, all of the marvels of science and technology, all of the electronics and mechanical wonders are just so many millions of tons of junk, unless it enhances the lives of men. The reason we emphasize machines and technology is to free man to go to art centers, music centers, cultural centers, and to find the meaning of their own existence and lives.
In his first term, Donald Trump created the longest government shutdown in history, and now in his second term, Donald Trump has set the record again for the new longest government shutdown in history.
I mean, all those things are right, but maybe it's simpler to just say, Alex, this is insane. What are we doing? I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Have we not learned the lessons of the last 20 years of forever wars? We have a lot of problems in America today. And putting troops on the ground to occupy and run Venezuela does not solve any of them. In fact, it probably makes instability worse in the region. It makes it more likely that refugees and drugs will come from Venezuela. And when the president says that he's going to fix the government and install the rightful leader, well, that doesn't seem to be in the plans now because he's not actually interested in installing the opposition leaders who won the election. So that's not democracy. And you don't get to just invade a country when you don't like the leader and want its oil.
Welcome to the News Hour. President Trump is set to address the nation tonight to tout the work of his administration and look ahead to his priorities in the new year.
The speech comes as economic concerns continue to be a top priority for Americans. In a new PBS News NPR Marist poll, 57% of respondents say they disapprove of the job the president's doing on the economy. 36% think he's doing a good job. It's the lowest approval rating he's seen on the issue in either of his terms in office. For more insights from the poll, I'm joined now by NPR senior political editor and correspondent Domenico Montanaro. Good to see you.
Hey, great to be with you.
Let's talk about the president's handling of the economy. Tell us about that drop in support and who exactly is losing confidence in the president.
I mean, this is a big deal. 36% of people approve of the job that the president is doing when it comes to the economy. This is the lowest number that he's ever seen in the Marist poll as far as how he's handling the economy. And this was a relative strength of his in his first term as president. And this is a big deal because he promised to bring down prices during the 2024 election. It's a big reason you could argue that a lot of voters crossed over to vote for him, in particular Latino voters who, repeatedly said that prices, affordability were huge issues for them as a reason why they voted for Trump. We've seen all year that they've slid away from him, whether it's been in special elections, the elections earlier in November, and in this poll, only 32% approve of the job that he's doing on the economy. It's exceedingly low. It's a really bad low point for this president, and it's why you see him now starting to get out on the trail trying to make the case on the economy, even though he continues to veer into culture issues like immigration.
So it has been just 48 hours since Republicans suffered pretty humiliating, crushing defeats in elections literally all across the country. And when any White House experiences a humiliating defeat, and believe me, I've been part of those, the instinct is often, most of the time, to change the subject. I mean, roll out a new policy, hold a big event, make any announcement of any kind, basically to get people to talk about anything other than the absolute shellacking that you just took at the polls. But apparently the announcement this White House settled on today didn't even really seem to keep the President of the United States awake.
Americans will lose 135 billion pounds by the midterms.
We're in a time right now where the world is really, really bad and really dark, and people need empathy and help more than kind of ever, especially in our country. And I'd say if you have money, it would be great to use it for good things and maybe give it to some people that need it. And
I saw you on the front of People's Magazine. I thought Wealth and Acquisitions would give you what you need, but instead it is written that you were caught up in the ways of your living. Choices were made, and on my block we would idolize your footsteps. So much money that you wouldn't really have to do shit. Damn, my little homie keeps thinking he is you, so he traded in his grades for a shiny new suit. And now he's on the bus with the same magazine, thinking with money he can truly be free. But what he don't know will make you cheat on your taxes. He wants everything that piques his attractions. No real connection, leaves him second guessing a brutal philosophy when you are expected to not be vulnerable. Bully and conquer, weak is shame. The strong do prosper. Dull your senses with the checks that you cashed, alcohol bottles or drugs that you grabbed. I read your whole article. You became something from a mother and father who gave you nothing, and you were put into a bad situation. But then you got rich was in bold quotations. So now I'm trying to be like you. Fuck school, only thing I ever learned is impossible. I never got the love that I need, but I feel all the hate for anyone who wants to test my greed. Now I'm on the cover of the magazine where I read all about your hopes and dreams. Now people see me and say, hey, you made it. Fucked up from last night, I can't explain it, but I start feeling cold in my expensive coat. I think I indulged for too long, I overdosed.
Hey buddy, you okay?
I wake up in a cold sweat. The object that tells time on my wrist is a Rolex. Now the person who asked if I was okay could see how I'm not, how I got everything but I don't have a lot. first impression. The puddle by my face is my sole possession. And yet I think back again, I lost hope in the money, but I found it within my pen. This is my letter to the 1%. All that money means nothing if you don't invest. This is my letter to the 1%. All that money means nothing if you don't invest. This is my letter to the 1%. All that money means nothing if you don't invest. This is my letter to the 1%. All that money means nothing.
We're in a time right now where the world is really, really bad and really dark, and people need empathy and help more than kind of ever, especially in our country. And I'd say if you have money, it would be great to use it for good things and maybe give it to some people that need it.
We begin this morning with new nationwide fallout after an ICE officer shot and killed a Minnesota mother. Protesters took to the streets yesterday in several major cities across the country, including Boston, New York, and Minneapolis, with more demonstrations expected this afternoon. Listen to what some of the protesters had to say.
They have not been trained. They are not equipped.
Take it to the streets while they take the extremes. No badge, no honor with the M16. Just stalking the corridors, looking for excuses to pull out the weapon and shoot. Cause your music or an idea about immigration is somehow so bad for the entire nation. But these masked individuals fought against COVID, claiming that science was the bone you picked. And ignorance will spread if not challenged. Saying she's a terrorist, your proof is invalid. When video footage is flying in the face of everybody that thinks it's an open and shut case. This is humanity, one earth, one people. We're all created in the image of the ether, so darkness prevails when you think you're on the winning side. And being outspoken is not the reason that she died. It's just another case. Orders from Mar-a-Lago, stomping through the projects, modern day Gestapo, block them at the gas station everywhere that I go. They can bring drums, but we ban on arrival. Just another case. Orders from Mar-a-Lago, stomping through the projects, modern day Gestapo, block them at the gas station everywhere that I go. They can bring drums, but we ban on arrival. Block them at the intersection, let them know loud. We can protest peacefully and be proud. Now get the fuck out with your $1 billion budget. Tell your orange boss like Chuck D, can't trust it, cause nothing is trustworthy about an M16 being pointed at me like the breakfast scene in Pulp Fiction. The truth is not depiction, the tyranny of evil men is how we're living. And I'm just a writer, reporting all your bullshit. Smile cause you're on TV, you punk bitch. And maybe this time you'd be wise enough to listen. She didn't have to die cause your mind kept slipping. So what's beef if it's not from the market? You terrorize people so your budget can blossom. And ask yourself clearly when you're losing some sleep, would you do it all again if the victim was me? Because just another case. Orders from Mar-a-Lago, stomping through the projects, modern day Gestapo, block them at the gas station everywhere that I go. They can bring drums, but we banned on arrival. Just another case. Orders from Mar-a-Lago, stomping through the projects, modern day Gestapo, block them at the gas station everywhere that I go. They can bring drums, but we banned on arrival.
We begin this morning with new nationwide fallout after an ICE officer shot and killed a Minnesota mother. Protesters took to the streets yesterday in several major cities across the country, including Boston, New York, and Minneapolis, with more demonstrations expected this afternoon. Listen to what some of the protesters had to say.
They have not been trained. They are not equipped. They're not like our police officers or our armed forces.
ICE is conducting a reign of terror in American cities that is violence against hard-working immigrants and now just American citizens trying to defend people in their community. It's a reign of terror. It's got to stop.
You may feel like there's a mass shooting in the U.S. every time you look at the news. The fact is, America has more mass shootings than any other high-income country in the world, and that number is rising. The FBI tracks mass shootings where 4 or more people are killed. Looking back over time, you can see that the number of these events and the fatalities have risen dramatically. And this decade is on track to follow that trend. So what is happening? There's a range of complex factors that lead to mass shootings, and each incident has its own unique set of circumstances. But one undeniable fact is that there are more civilian-owned guns per person here in the US than anywhere else in the world.
Yo, that first scene of Belly really got my mind tripping. The Wire season 1 where Snot was found missing, asking all the kids who shot him. Bullet shells laying face down inside the apartment. You pulled out your 9 with about 5 seconds before you reconsider with a lifelong message. What is blood worth when it stains up your carpet? Can't get it out, so the pain you must block it. How can you blossom underneath gun shells? We live in a world where you only live once but end up dead. A rough agreement. I'd rather talk it out than see someone bleeding, begging for their life cause so many reasons. We deserve more than a threat that's misleading, and every gangster that I know would often dream about if things were different. Maybe it was me that could easily pick up a gun and just shoot, cause life is full of problems that are not bulletproof. But let me break it down for the G's and the hustlers, the kids just starving on the back of the bus, and anyone that's tried self-harm but you knew it was wrong. But life keeps yelling, telling you to come on. Before you indulge, let's break it down. The whys and shoulds. Would your death ever make your life better? Would the opposition get the message from your Beretta? Or maybe if there were no guns we'd still fight? Or maybe we could try to understand tonight. The plight of the situation is this: there's more guns per foot than a shop like K-Swiss. Don't entertain death cause we're better than that. Just listen to the chorus and hand me the strap. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I kill you, then you must kill me. We don't have to walk long to see where this road leads. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I kill you, then you must kill me. We don't have to walk long to see where this road leads. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I kill you, then you must kill me. We don't have to walk long to see where this road leads. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. If I shoot you, then you must shoot me. We don't have to walk long to see where this road leads. You know what? Wait a minute. Why don't we put the guns down and go on this walk and talk it out? It's that PTSD, the weight's too heavy. Can someone please take this fucking weight up off me? I don't need ICE or officer friendly. I don't need guns that smoke when empty. I don't need laws that restrict my body. I need healthcare, but Trump don't. Probably you bomb Iran just to show your true colors, not red, white, and blue, but yellow. A sucker, everybody and they mom feel the PTSD. How many people died before we see peace in our time? Not a slogan that's empty. I don't need commercials advertising your Pepsi when you claim that we're obese and you claim that we're stupid, while you say that hip-hop is not close to music. But what gets me is the PTSD. We can't be civilized with a criminal mouthpiece who goes on Twitter with his PTSD, regurgitates on X like he's spreading a disease. I don't need people coming into my crib without a warrant. No sir, get back in your lift, cause one thing that I see is PTSD. We got G.I. Joe trying to be a Marine, no heart back then, so anger it seems is making him act with PTSD.
case of financial derivatives, this simply means that you create a piece of paper which derives its value from a so-called underlying asset. A company shares, a house, crude oil, your student debt, no kidding.
If we derived our worth from our character, what beholds is a making of wealth we've yet to unfold, like the napkin at the new diner. People say they found a ladder, but we're never climbers. How interesting it is, wealth personified in every mind. If I don't check the box, then I lied. I probably won't escape debt, but I tried, is what people think of afterlife. Do you think that God looks in your bank accounts and sees amounts in the negative, so entry denied, like a card at a theme park? I'm telling you right now that it gets dark when you sacrifice light to feel life as a millionaire. I'd rather be broke than living in the stratosphere for something that doesn't exist. Yo, plot twist.
Pretty much anything can be used as the basis for a financial derivative. Even, wait for it, another derivative. A derivative is just a contract between two parties betting on the change in price of that underlying asset. And as the price of that asset changes, the price of this piece of paper, our derivative, changes too in some different way. The relationship of this price change to that price change is what derivatives are all about. It is the reason they're bought and sold every day in such massive amounts, for good reasons of prudent financial management and for crazy reasons of insane speculation.
Every country on Earth is drowning in debt. The US owes $38 trillion, Europe $14 trillion, Japan $9 trillion. Global debt, $315 trillion, 3 times the size of the world economy. But here's the riddle no one dares to ask. If every country owes money, then who is the creditor?
It's all about checks and it's all about bets. Could you gamble your life when debt don't exist? But it crushes more lives like a powerful exec. Living day by day isn't even enough when the money is paper that we got from trees. If we chop down more, we lose how we can breathe. But we're slipping like the Exxon. Wealth isn't strength. If you choose to abuse, then you're absolutely dead wrong. Hoarding all the millions while millions are drowning. Minimum wage is a minimal concept. The revolution strikes first, keep your alarm set. It's time for a new day, a change in rhythm. We could give it all back in a split decision, make an economy dissolve that wasn't even working, components and all. Watching money that falls in rap videos always has you in awe. But I'd rather be the Joker and burn my own half, cause money is debt while everybody gets slashed by the deficits. How can a concept breathe when it doesn't exist? If the credit card balance was made from thin air, then why is there interest? It's counterfeit, meaning that it's backed by nothing, but the advertisements leave me needing something. But here's the twist, cause debt itself doesn't exist.
Because the answer isn't China. It isn't billionaires. The truth is stranger and far more dangerous. 300 years ago, economies ran on gold. Today, they run on IOUs. Modern economies don't borrow debt. They manufacture it. A government bond is no longer a promise to repay. It's the raw material from which money itself is created. So who owns America's $38 trillion debt? China? A little? Foreign countries? Some. The shocking truth, most of America's debt is owned by Americans, pension funds, life insurance, banks, the Federal Reserve. The U.S. owes money to itself. Countries don't repay debt, ever. Paying it off would destroy the global financial system. Governments roll it over forever because debt isn't a bill, it's oxygen. Sovereign debt is the foundation of everything. Mortgages, bank reserves, corporate lending, currency markets. If one major country tried to repay its debt, the pyramid collapses. No collateral, no money, no money, no banks, no economy. So who is the world's creditor? Not countries, not billionaires, not even central banks. The real creditor is a system of infinite promises, a circular network where every IOU backs another IOU, a financial Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. Debt allows nations to wage war, buy influence, control resources, and manipulate economies without ever firing a shot. the biggest superpower is not the U.S. military. It's the U.S. Treasury bond. The system works only as long as people believe the promises are good, lose confidence, and the entire $315 trillion global system evaporates overnight. Debt built empires, debt destroyed empires, but never before has the world run on nothing but promises. When every country is a debtor and no country is a creditor, the only thing left holding the world together is belief, and belief can change in a single day.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by Revolutionary Records and brought to you by TMAC. In today's day and age, there's far too much hate and not enough love. And because of that, I decided to speak to you today in regular speak form than in rhyme form. Because I believe sharing a message is much easier when you know exactly what to say. What I have to say is, it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what sexuality you have, it doesn't matter where you came from. All that matters is that we are in this together. We are one species on this planet, one humanity. There's no one else that shares in our characteristics other than us. And we continue to treat each other in the worst ways. Why? That's what this public announcement is for. We need to embrace more love and less hate. And if hate is in your heart, then you need to figure out where that hate is coming from. For example, if I say I hate the winter, do I really hate the winter? Because when you go outside in the winter and sit down by yourself, you experience a calming feeling. The only thing that keeps winter in the minds of those who hate it is the cold, because they differentiate cold with feelings of emptiness. But that is not true. If you can find peace within yourself, then you can share that peace with others. And in turn, if you can find the love again, you can fix the wrongs from your hatred. What I suggest we do is come together as a collective human species and begin to implement a brand new society.
Everybody in the state of Illinois is going to have to be involved or even around the revolution, because we're going to have one. We're going to have to do more than talk. We're going to have to do more than listen. We're going to even have to do more than learn. We're going to have to start practicing, and that's very hard. We're going to have to start learning, and you learn through practice. We got to start making mistakes, and you learn through making mistakes. We got to start getting out there with the people. And a lot of times we think we're better than the people, but that's an insult, and that's criminal. Think you're better than the people. So we got to get together and learn where it's at. It's going to take a lot of hard work.